Hey, ZeroRug here, coming another video review. Today, I'll be taking a look at the 1:144 scale high-grade Universal Century DOM/RickDom. And we're starting off in the DOM configuration, and we'll get to the RickDom configuration later. But anyway, here we have them in the DOM configuration. Size to a soda can. Pretty average for a 1/144 scale kit. As far as colors are concerned, it's very interesting. A lot of black with some very dark grayish blue, a little bit of red, some clear parts, some pink, and then the standout color of lavender. Because lavender. What? Why? Poseability is pretty good, except for one thing that I'll show you in a bit. But we'll start off with the head. Yes, the head actually does have poseability. It can move up and down, as well as turn side to side pretty well, I mean, for what it needs to. Now, you can move the mono eye, and that involves taking this red piece off. Problem is, this red piece hardly stays on. I mean, oh, now you're gonna, lovely. 9 times out of 10, this thing just falls off. Anyway, you can move the mono eye, and there's actually quite a bit of detail in there for, you know, what it is. Anyway, the mono eye can move side to side. It's got a sort of swivel hinge going on. Little stiff, but it can move side to side. What are you doing? Sorry, my cat's being annoying. It can also move up about that far, so you can get some poseability out of the mono eye. And you just put the faceplate back on, so it looks pretty good. Now moving on to the rest of the body. The arms have joints in the body that allow them to move back and forth and up and down a little bit. They can also go all the way around, out to the side that far with just the joint in the arm. If you had the joint in the body, you can go up to the out to the side that far. There is a swivel just below the shoulder. You can go all the way around. One joint in the elbow, about 90 degrees, and then ball joint in the wrist, side to side, back and forth. Swivel, all that good stuff. As for the torso, it's on a swivel hinge, so it can swivel back and forth just a little bit, and then move back and then tilt back and forth a little bit. The front skirts are actually separate pieces. They can only move up about that far, but that's really all they need to do. Side skirts can move up about that far, but again, that's all they need to do. See what I mean? Back skirt doesn't move. Okay, the legs can move forward that far, back that far, out to the side that far, swivel a little bit since they're on a ball joint. The legs can bend that far at 2 joints in the knee, so not a whole lot. And then for the feet, there is a joint in the leg that allows it to move like that. You can see it in there. These thrusters also have joints, so they can swivel, hinge, all that stuff. And of course, the foot itself is on a ball joint, so tilt, swivel, up and down, all that good stuff. Oh, right, I forgot. One bit of poseability, the thrusters. The thrusters on the backpack can move up and down. Not a whole lot of range of motion, but that's, you know, good enough. The RickDom accessories don't really alter the poseability except for the thrusters, and they really just add a little bit, not really a whole lot to it. As far as accessories go, this guy has quite a few. So to start things off relatively simple, he has a replacement splayed hand for that weird charge that the black tri-stars or whatever they're called do. So there's that. You can do that pretty easily. Just pop the existing hand out of the ball joint, and there you go. He also has a replacement left hand that is a trigger finger hand, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Next is his heat rod. I forget exactly what this is called. I want to call it a heat rod because that's what the Goof's weird heat whip thing is called. Anyway, it's got a yellow blade and then this dark blue gray bit for the handle. You can hold it nice and easy, just drop it into his hand. Or pop his fingers off. Okay, there we go. Now I have him with his weapon equipped and the fingers seem to be staying on. That was a lot harder than it needed to be. But there he is with his weird weapon thing equipped. It's okay. He does have a piece to store it. Now how this piece works is there is a post right there, and then a port, in the middle of his back, so just plug that in there. It helps you put it in an angle, and just drop this in there blade first. And there you go. The last two accessories he has, we'll go with this one first. The rocket launcher for the DOM version of the kit. It's just in that same bluish-gray plastic with a clear pink piece for the scope of some kind. It has a handle on the side that can move, this tripod thing, I guess, that can move, and then the grip can also move back and forth a bit. Getting him to equip this isn't all that difficult. You need to pop the fingers off, put this part of the hand around the grip, and then wrap the rest of the hand around it like that. Pop this hand out of the ball socket. Just get all this and get him posed where he can hold it. So just pop that in there. And there he is with the rocket launcher equipped. Not too bad. I really don't like the sort of circular shape of this, but it's not too bad. He also has this much larger square rocket launcher, or beam launcher of some kind. Mostly molded in that same dark blue plastic. Pink piece here for the scope visor thing. And you have the grip here that can move up and down to make posing easier. And again, he holds it the same way, so I'm not going to bother showing you that again. There he is with his hand equipped to that. So again, just get this sort of angled up, get it popped into the ball socket, and there he is with the rocket launcher or beam launcher for the RickDom equipped. That's not too bad. Again, his weapons are fairly bland, so there's not a whole lot going on there. Now, of course, as you may have noticed, I've got these pieces scattered around here, which are the conversion pieces to make the RickDom. Just go ahead and take this off. Basically, to get these pieces on, what you have to do is pop the backpack off, or this section of the backpack. The thrusters are held on with a little bar joint in there. Pop the entire back skirt off, take this purple piece off, and it goes on this instead. Then, whatever. And then pop the soles of the feet off. And there we have him in RickDom mode. Initially, nothing really looks all that different, but as you can see, the backpack is a little bit different. It now has these larger thrusters. They can still move up and down like that, but they now have the added poseability of the thruster bells being on ball joints. So that's fun. He also has a wider back skirt, which now enables you to take these thrusters on the back and wiggle them up and down. And of course, he has the different soles of his feet that have thrusters on them, so he can, whoosh, fly around. But beyond that, there really isn't that much difference between the Dom and RickDom versions. And personally, I prefer the RickDom version because I like all of the mobile suits I have to be able to fly if it's an option. Yes, I do realize how nerdy that sounded, but come on, I'm reviewing a plastic model kit. I think we've sort of passed the point where... Yeah, moving on. Of course, the yellow weapon thing can still be stored because that polycap port in there is still available. Let's just pop that in there. So that still works the same. Weapon still works the same, of course. In this form, you're supposed to use the beam launcher instead of the bazooka. So just pop the ball joint to the socket. And this is the setup for the RickDom mode. Again, not a drastic difference, but enough of a difference. Personally, I prefer the more blocky looking look. The more blocky look of this weapon than the sort of odd look of this. So I usually keep him in RickDom mode when he's on my shelf. Of course, it's mildly annoying because there's no way to store the rocket launcher, so I either don't give him the rocket launcher or he takes up a little more space than I would like. But overall, this is a pretty good kit. Not the best. It has that annoying feature with the hands that I absolutely hate and wish they go back to the way it was before. But whatever. So that's about it. That's been my review of the 1 to 1/44th scale high grade Universal Century Dom/RickDom. Now, if you'd like this or any other model kit, and you're the kind of person who either doesn't like to or doesn't have the patience or the time or whatever to build your own model kits, I do offer to acquire the kits, build the kit, and then send it to you. So if that interests you, or you know somebody who would be interested in that, just let me know and we can work something out. So until next time, bye-bye.